Welcome to the Fantasy Football Clown Show. I'm Ed, that's Justin, and Brad. Tonight, first week of playoffs in the books. Hit that subscribe button, the like button, and put any questions in the comments that you have, or just any comments that you have in general. We just always appreciate seeing any feedback and try to answer them as well. Wow, we're getting to the end, guys. I don't know if I envisioned it to go exactly like this when we started, but it's been fun. I mean, I've enjoyed the season, and I guess tonight we'll talk a little bit about our teams that we have and where they are and what we're looking for, and then outline the Elite Eight and some of the other Clownhead leagues. But, geez, what is your takeaway after the first week of playoffs, guys? What are you thinking?
Well, I'm a little shocked, and surprised. I thought some of these new injuries that popped up were kind of out of nowhere. Um, Personally, licking some wounds, pretty much getting ready for next year on my end. So,
How about you, Brad? I saw in Dino you didn't do so well.
Yeah, I mean, most of my teams did well overall this week, but I think for the Clownhead leagues, I think it kind of went somewhat as I thought it was gonna go. So, but yeah.
That's cool. So we're going to start out tonight like we usually do and look at the DraftKings tournaments. And so we had a couple, and actually I think we have one in process right now, our first Monday, Thursday tournament underway, and there's several of us in that, and so that's pretty exciting. But starting off with the Saturday slate of last week, I finished fourth, 126.30, and we had GJL Reed with a 146.5. And so, as I say, some of these players, we're going to remark about maybe some of the crazy games that we saw over the weekend. And he had Kirk Cousins, 37.40. And I know early in that game, we didn't think Kirk Cousins was too good. He also had Jonathan Taylor at 2.3 points, Gus Bus at 5.5, Justin Jefferson, 33.3, Pittman, 19, Thielen 13-10, Knox with a 21.8, Donovan Peoples-Jones 13-10, and the Bills defense 1-0. And we're going to talk a little bit about some of those players, but I'll come back to that. Second place, the Cammer 8 with a 142.26. And in third place, our very own Justin with a 141.8. So less than a half a point off the second place there, with that score, and only about 5 points behind the first place team. So it's good. But as we kind of think back to Kirk Cousins and then the Jonathan Taylor injury and just some of the things that were happening in that game, and then he had JJ and Thielen as part of his team to win there, and that was a crazy game. I put $9 at halftime in my betting on the Vikings, and I was really doing it because I had bet them, I don't know, sometime in the first quarter when they were down about 14-0, and I that was in chasing the beginning of the game bet that I put on them. So I bet like $10, then I bet $20, and then I'm like, well, if I put 9 on it now, and then the guys came by and said, that Bills win over the Houston Oilers, which I remember seeing, was the biggest margin and that was 32 points, and I'm like, I'm not going to bet on the biggest comeback of all time. Like, I'm not even doing that. I'm not throwing good money at bad money. So that would have paid like $480 on my $9 at that point. So that would have been crazy. So I did not do that. But what were you guys thinking Saturday with that Saturday slate? Jesus, we had an injury to Taylor, which I was checking it. I don't know about you guys, but I was looking right at my teams. I'm like, I have 2 Taylors on playoff teams, and I'm playing against 1 Taylor on playoff teams. So that ain't good. That just isn't good. So what were you guys thinking?
yeah. So, with the Taylor injury, I was out and about doing some errands myself, and all of a sudden I get a notification that he went questionable to out. I'm like, what happened? He only rushed once. He only touched the ball once, I think it was. and then it was notified out. I'm like, okay. Well, luckily enough, I didn't have him in my lineup that day. But on the other hand, Kirk Cousins, he had what 40 something yards in the first half, and then come back in the second half over 400 yards, 4 touchdowns. That was insane. And
Yeah, he's that art of he can have nothing, and we were watching that as we get to the Sunday slate. One of my friends was telling me they were complaining about Joe Burrow being negative points in like the first half on Sunday, and then I said, yeah, but he just always balls out. Like I've seen this story before, and sure enough, Joe Burrow just balled out by the second half, and I feel like that's what happens to these quarterbacks. Like they have a half, and if they have a half, it's a league.
Quarterbacks, you got to wait the whole game. They play 100% of their snaps. They can go any way.
Yeah, that's true. So on Sunday, the early, I actually finished first. So this was my best slate of the situation, and I had a 152.74. And some of the players I used were Andy Dalton 14-14, ETN 1670, Algier 25.60, and almost took Algier out when I was subbing guys around. So it's kind of sometimes funny. The guys I took him out and put him back in. I'm like, no, I'm going to go with my first inkling. And so that's kind of funny for me that I was, debating, and then I put him back. And I forget who I was subbing him in for. It was maybe Mostert, but I think Mostert did okay. So I don't think it would have been like terrible, but it was, something there. And then Deontay at 20, Olave 8.3 is who I stacked with Dalton. Eli Moore 9.4, Kelsey 23.5, AJ Brown 30.10, and the Steelers defense 5. And I know you guys laugh at me because I like the Steelers defense, but I think it's more of a fascination with TJ Watt. I'm just like I like TJ Watt, and then I like Minkah Fitzpatrick on the back end, and Devin Bush. So like there's like these three layers of guys that I like, and I just feel like in defense you just want guys that can take one to the house. And so I'm sitting here telling my TV to take things to the crib and do house calls, and I'm just my family thinks I'm a nut as I'm screaming at this defense to do something. But I feel like they have three guys that can really just take any ball to the house all the time. So that's why I play them when they're cheap. The Sunday main slate, D Guz finished in first place, and that was 164.74, and he had Mahomes, Pollard, McKinnon, Keenan Allen, Juju, Seymour. Chris Moore from the Texans, Waller, Garrett Wilson, and the Broncos. And then we had Schofstall 120.68 and Drupert 108.38. So that was the main slate. And then like I said, we have the Monday, Thursday slate that we're starting that we have several people in. So we're working on that as well. As we look at the Elite Eight, and I think we were just kind of talking right before the show about who we think is going to win, and so I will ask you guys kind of to formally put that on tape here when we get to that. But I'm really relishing the way we pay this, because as I've kind of looked around and hearing people in some of my other leagues, and I'll see if you guys echo this, the guys that have the bye weeks, they're all telling me, "Oh man, I had the best week ever." They're all saying that, and it's their bye week. And then when they lose this week, they're all going to be pissed off that they lost that they have their worst week when they play, and they have the bye week that they don't. Well, in the Elite Eight, they played last week, and they all played. And not only did they all play, but they all got paid. So everybody that had a bye week in their individual brackets, they got paid $75 to show up and play. And then if they had that good week that they all say that they had and beat their opponent, they move on, and then we pay them $125 to play this coming week. And they still play in their divisional playoffs like they normally would in any 12-team, league. But in this case, they're already, if they had that great bye week where they, say, hey, we beat somebody, they're already 2 times their money before they play in their divisional round. So I guess I kind of like that it kind of pays for showing up and playing the playoff game, and then every game you play, you actually get paid more and more money. And I kind of like that kind of as it replicates the NFL. So anyway, I'm pretty proud of that as I just kind of tell people that they're like, they don't understand and they kind of give me this blank stare. But I think, geez, that's kind of a cool way to reward fantasy football players that if you make the playoffs, you get paid. And I think very few leagues kind of operate in that method, like you go through this regular season and then like the NFL wild card weekend, those guys get paid, extra money if they play in wild card weekend. So, that's kind of cool. So looking at the pairings that we have, I want to just kind of go over them. We have the 1 seed Johnny Ross versus Miley R in the 8th spot. And so Johnny Ross was from Division D with a 13-1 record. Miley R in Division G with a 10-4 record. So that's who do you guys think are going to win that matchup?
Well, I looked at both their teams, and Johnny Ross is looking pretty nice. His team looks well put together, and I think he's going to head off to the next round.
Yeah, I mean, I guess 3,400 points this year, so that's a lot of points. What do you think, Brad?
Yeah, I have to agree. It's hard to bet against guys that put up so many points.
I'm gonna go with Johnny Ross as well. So all three of us, you can mark that down that we all think Johnny Ross gonna take that one. The 2 versus 7, we've got Turkleton from Division F, 12-2 record, and Cowboys and Utes, Division H, with a 10-4 record. Justin, we'll start with you. What do you think there?
Turkleton again. Turkleton on this one. Him and Johnny Ross have great lineups, well put together. But I think Turkleton's gonna win and go on to the next round.
Okay. What about you, Brad?
Yep. Yeah, I think it'll be Turkleton. He's definitely been in the chats reminding us about how many over 250 point games and everything he has every week. So, I mean, he definitely backs it up and he puts up points. So I can't argue with that.
I too will make it a 3, and I'll take Turkleton. And I've really enjoyed just having Turkleton in the league, just not for any other reason than he just engaged. He's in it. He's definitely, always chatting us up and creating. He's a fun guy to have in the Discord and just fun. So just appreciate him and having him in the league. It's been fun. And so, as I'm picking him up, though, I mean, I really appreciate the way he built and just has run his team and it's really come out well. The 3 versus 6 seed, M. Ralston versus MFL Legend, or MF Legend, I should say. We've got M. Ralston, Division H, so the second person in Division H, 12-2 record. And then we also have MF Legend, Division D, and the second person in Division D. So we've got two Division H's and 2 Division D's with an 11-3 record. What do you think there?
I think it's going to be the I wrote it down. Sorry, guys. MR. The guy. Yes. Thank you for helping me out with that. Yes, I think he's gonna win this one.
I'm gonna go with MF Legend on this one. Actually, I think this matchup has a good one for an upset, and I think MF Legend can pull it off.
And I was thinking that both of you guys would go with Ralston. I'm going to go MF Legend as well, taking an upset here. I was kind of pegging this one as one of the upsets that I would go with, and I think not for me. It was for no other reason than I wanted to pick an upset. Just to kind of be on somebody that's an upset. So there's no disrespect to M. Ralston from me, but just more that I wanted to make sure I picked an upset somewhere along the line, and I was trying to separate from you guys a little bit. It was really it. it, but I think it's more than just trying to beat you guys. I think I don't know if that makes any sense, but so I'll go on that side. So Justin, you'll stay alone with the favorite on that one.
I will. I will.
That's not a bad spot to be. You know, when two guys take the upset, then you're like, what the heck? Do we get points? Do we get some points? I think we should get points. Give us points.
Yeah.
50 points. No, I'm kidding. Okay, and then the 4 seed Wolfpack in Division A, 11-3, versus the 5 seed the Cammer Division C, 11-3. And Justin, hey you.
I'm gonna take the Wolfpack on this one. The Camera has hurt. Don't know if he's gonna play this week. So if Hurts plays this week, Camera wins. If not, Wolfpack wins.
And who do you have, Brad? I don't think we're going to see Hurts this week, but
yeah, I'm not sure. Even knowing that, I'm gonna have to go with the Cammer just because I'm gonna have to rep my division in this one. I'm hoping he can bring a win back for us.
Well, and I'm looking at the Camera. You've got Purdy starting. You've got Rodgers in a must-win starting, and Dalton. I mean, so he's got. Without Hurts, he's got quarterbacks. You know, he's not like sitting there saying, "Oh no, what do I do next?" You know, so the Camera does have it. So I'm also going to go with Justin though, and I'm going to go the Wolfpack, and I'm kind of going the same reason that Brad took the Camera is the Wolfpack is part of Division A in my division, so I'm just kind of siding with my countrymen, and basically going with the guy that beat me up all year long, and just to say that you know I'm in support of the Division A where I am located. And this is the last time he's going to be able to win. So, you know, because I'll be coming on strong next time. So I'm just giving him some love right now. And then next year I'll do what I do and come from 12th to 1st. You know, that's how that's going to roll. So we're going to just throw that out there. Actually, I'm probably a year away from that. But, you know, that's kind of where I'm going to take. So, yeah, that's that kind of we'll talk a little bit about Jalen Hurts and some of the injuries that we have coming up here in a moment, but that's what we have for the Elite Eight and those 4 matchups, and we're down to the Elite Eight right now, and so that's exciting, and can't wait to get to the Final 4 pairing for next week and get closer to giving away $3,000. Jeez.
Ooh, yeah.
That's some serious cash for 110 investment, right? Like if you think about that. You know, how many leagues do you get in for 110 and win 3,000?
Not many.
And these guys are really 8 away. Like they're so close now to being right there in that. And so these guys that we all mentioned actually make 125 for this week. They made 75 for last week, so that's 200. And then you know, there's going to be 4 winners come out of there that'll get paid 2,800, 800, 400, and 200. And then they still are alive playing in their semifinal games in their division, you know, for another couple $100. So there's some more money at stake for them, even above that. But yeah, $2,800. You know, two more wins away from $2,800 for one of those guys, in addition to the other money that they're earning everywhere else. And so, pretty cool. Looking at clown heads 1 through 5, so same kind of statistical scoring that what we had in those other. We're just going to kind of run through clown heads 1. We have Jim Instant Karma versus Iwan Diggs, and we have Jason Paro versus River AD. And once we get to the final pairing, we'll kind of get our picks of who's going to win those, you know, next week. So we'll get on that next week. Clown heads 2, Vertanen versus KCMO, better known as Carp G. And Jack Powers versus the Big Behemoth. And I expected that we would see some of Jack Powers, as I felt like every week we were talking about Jack Powers for a minute there about being the top scorer in these Clownhead leagues. So that's good. Clownhead 3, Jason Paro versus Matt DeFalco. Art Cagle versus JSL 111. Clownheads 4, Jack Powers again, second time he's in the semifinals versus Davider. And the real Brad Smith, our very own, versus Cheeky Hobson. And we're going to come back and just kind of ask Brad about that team. And then Clownheads 5, Kerwin 17 versus Steeler Nation, who beat me this week. And Top Flight Hooker versus W. Barrett W. So I lost out of Clownhead 5. That's where I was playing in the preliminary playoff round, and I lost. But Brad had a bye and said he goes through. How do you feel in Clownheads 4? Because I know that you are the only person out of the three of us that picked you. We all said you can't win, so we're all kind of against Team Brad over here. So what do you think, Brad? Are we gonna be talking about you next week?
I sure hope so. I mean, I like how my team looks in that league. I mean, if guys like Andrews start having good games, I think I'm going to be a powerhouse.
Well, and Lamar comes back this week, right, guys?
Well, I lost Kyler in that league, but I've got quarterbacks.
Yeah, but does Lamar come back? That would help Andrews. Like I think
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if he's coming back this week.
I mean, because I think they'll come up and key on him on the run, and then Andrews is open. Right now, there's not the threat of the Lamar type running. Like I know there's Tyler Huntley running, but that's not Lamar running threat. You know, like I feel like when Lamar has a threat to run, then that opens up the middle of the field for Andrews. You know, so I think if Lamar comes back, I think Andrews is a bigger piece of the puzzle. So yeah, that's where we are there. Clownheads redraft 1. We have. And these are all people that are part of the Dynasty community that just kind of jumped in a couple of redrafts. A little bit lower end redrafts. They're $50 redrafts, but they're deep like the Dynasty scoring. And so same scoring, same positions, you guys will get a kick out of this. 24-man rosters in this redraft league.
Yeah.
Throw that right on out there. That if you can win in the 24-man redraft team, then you can win in a lot of things. It's pretty deep over here with 2 tight ends, 2 quarterbacks starting. So, just kind of saying. But Heifer versus River AD, Will 500K versus P-Jags in redraft 1. We'll get to picking those winners next week. And Clownheads 2 redraft, we've got Immediate Fantasy Clown versus Hurricane Zion. He's part of Division A as well, so it'll be kind of a nice match there. And then we have Jaden, who's also part of Division A, versus Will 500K. So that Clownheads redraft 2 is full of Division A from Elite 8, teams in the Final Four. So that's kind of cool. And so we'll definitely get back to that next week and really pick. Wanted to kind of pick your brains on what you're thinking, and you're advising people that had Jonathan Taylor, have Colt McCoy, had Jalen Hurts. What you're hearing about those players and what you guys are. How are you feeling about your playoffs? I did look at my teams, and I have very few. I think it's because I don't know. I have 5 teams playing this week, so I'm down to 5, and it feels like not very many. How many do you have playing, Justin?
Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Where I'm still alive in the playoffs. One of my large money leagues, 175 pay in each. Nice little take home check. I'm favored to lose right now by I think 8 or 9 points, but of course it'll update as the week goes on. And then another one, I'm playing against the number 1 guys, 13-1. And scoring 150 week, and it's going to be hard for me to beat him. But he does have Hurts, so that's going to help me. I just got to figure out how I'm going to block him on getting a quarterback. Considering you can only roster 2 quarterbacks in that league, so I got to make a wise call there, and. Just hope and pray this week for myself.
What about you, Brad? How are you feeling?
I gotta say I had a pretty good week. I've still got 7 or 8 teams in the playoffs. And I feel pretty good about all of them. I think they've all got a good shot at going all the way. Yeah, I'm excited.
I think I have out of my 5 teams, 1 redraft, 4 dynasty. Just kind of some numbers on it. I'm favored in all 4 dynasty teams. I don't know if that matters. I hope it doesn't. I'm really proud of. I see Brad, you made it through in Flock 7. That's a league I play in with you, and you made it through there. In Flock 10, it's a $250 entry, so that's my biggest entry league. That one I'm still kicking there. I was the 6th seed, and I took out the 3, and they did shenanigans in my league too, and so I'm favored to win. So that's kind of crazy I think that guy has has some troubles with injuries and things. So he's kind of up against it. So I might run into some things, and I'm kind of chuckling. There's a guy in the commissioner in that league, in one of the leagues. I see he's in the playoffs, and his 2 quarterbacks are Jalen Hurts and Ryan Tannehill. So I'm kind of just hoping that we see. I did hear that possibly Tannehill's going to sit out this week too. So I just thought that would be poetic justice if both sat out this week, and he just kind of, as he said, he could win with no 1 quarterback or no quarterbacks or whatever. I guess the proof could be in the pudding. We could just see if we could take a 0, how that would work out for him, and maybe he'll think the quarterbacks have value next year. Go figure. So pretty excited about that, and then I have the match against in Clownhead's redraft, so that was kind of cool to be playing those guys, and I am picked to lose against Hurricane Zion, so that'll be fun to play that out. And, yeah, Brad, I see you're in the playoffs in Clownhead's 4, so congratulations there. Like that's cool to be playing in a dynasty in year 1. So love to have that be there. And you have a bye in Paramount, right?
Yep.
I'm in another league with you with Paramount.
Small style.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I got eliminated in small style. So Justin's going to be part of small style next year. So then we all get to play in small style. That's cool.
Nice.
Who do you play? Did you play Dan this week?
No, he would be the finals.
Okay. So Dan is a 2-time champion and very easily could be a 3-time champion. He's in our Elite 8 as well. So, Justin, if you come in, we'd be happy to see you take over the throne from Dan. Dan, we haven't been able to beat Dan here recently, so
Yeah, well, let's hope so.
Yeah, so he's going to take over Darren's team. So Darren's going to be leaving after this year, and so Justin's jumping in there, and that'll be fun. And what other teams do you have in the playoffs, Brad?
I have Hindsight is 2020.
Okay, I used to be in that league. I'm not anymore.
Heroes Get Remembered. I got knocked out this week.
Okay.
Living on the Edge. I moved on.
Oh, you're in Living on the Edge too?
Yep.
Good.
And then small style Paramount. Traverse Stakes Derby. I got knocked out of.
Okay. I used to be in that one. I'm not in that anymore either.
And then C, I got knocked out of this week as well.
Which one? Oh, Clownhead C. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you were part of the smaller playoffs in Elite 8. Okay.
Very nice.
Yeah. What? So, and we'll break it down, I'm sure, over the off season. But what are your takeaways from the Elite 8? Of course, that's our pinnacle tournament. What do you guys think about playing through it and then seeing it from the moderator, side? I mean, what are your takeaways from what you maybe thought it would be to what it is today, and what we have?
I really enjoyed it so far. So the 3-point PPR for tight ends has surely made a huge impact, in my opinion. Considering, we've had a little downhill slide with the tight end group this year. Pretty much have Kelsey. You are more likely in a playoff. If not, then good luck next year.
So we ought to look at that, I guess, for next week when we come on. That brings a good point that what Justin just did. let's look at the four rosters at the Final Four and see how they compare. Like, I'd be interested to see if we have four Kelseys, for instance. Like, I don't even know. I didn't see. Do we have 8 Kelseys right now? We can't because we have 2 people from 2 different divisions. So then I know that, they don't each have a Kelsey. But
Yeah.
I almost wonder if, like, and I think it's when we get to the Final Four that we ought to compare, like, the rosters and see if, who were the people that you had to have, so to speak, to get to that point. Like, who are see if there's anybody that all 4 of these teams now have this player on it, type of thing.
I mean,
Yeah.
I can tell you, I feel like the upsets came from guys like Zay Jones and, guys that just kind of went off that people had to plug into their lineups. And
Okay. Well, Zay put up big numbers.
Exactly.
That was my Flock 10 league that I had Zay Jones starting there, and the guy was like in disbelief, Here I am, go. But I was like, no, I've been playing him all year. Like, I've been playing him all year, and he's been okay. Like, I just haven't been all year. And so, yeah, that's yeah, I agree with you, Justin. I feel like the tight end, it's made that become a very valuable position, and you can, I draft all kinds of quarterbacks and get flack for drafted all kinds of quarterbacks, but you could conceivably build around a tight end too. Like, that's a way you could build a successful team. And if you had Hawkinson, Andrews, and Kelsey, you could probably get by with 2 low end quarterbacks and fly. You really could build your team around 3 or 4 tight ends.
I mean, this year, 2 low end quarterbacks in the draft would have been guys like Goff and Geno, who would have probably turned out to have been real nice for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you really could fading quarterbacks and most times you guys will see that my quarterbacks, I have a lot of them, but they all suck. And then I just hope to get a Geno and Goff out of the deal. Like, I don't profess to know what they are. I just pick all the end guys and see who is good. Like, I draft Baker Mayfield like nobody's business, and then I laugh when he does Ram-like things, on Thursday Night Football after being in the building for a day and a half. Like, I just kind of like, oh, I guess, it was either him or Wolford. I didn't know, which one. I just put one of them in and went with it. So, I digress. But any injury news that you guys know about that we can give people? Anything that you're hearing? I mean, I heard that Colt McCoy concussed. Not sure if he's going to play, if it's going to be Tracy McSorley. A little bit of doubt on Ryan Tannehill. I touched on that briefly. Just kind of hearing different injury designations around about different players. Jalen Hurts, really good possibility that we're going to see Gardner Minshew this week.
Absolutely. Definitely, I think they're going to go with Gardner Minshew this week. We got Jonathan Taylor went on IR today. AJ Dillon he left the game with a concussion protocol last night, and he's already cleared it, so he's good to go. Let's see, Zamir Knight for the New York Jets, running back, dealing with an ankle injury. So we'll probably see Michael Carter in that running back slot Thursday night, but wait and see on him.
What are you hearing on quarterback for the Jets for Thursday night? Is it going to be Zach Wilson or Mike White?
Wilson.
Okay.
They've already ruled out White, from my understanding.
Okay. I didn't know that.
It's more of a doctor saying he's out, from what I heard.
Okay.
But he has not cleared him, I should say, but it's more likely going to be Wilson, definitely.
Any news? I did hear Mitch Trubisky, or I'm sorry, that Kenny Pickett's going to play. He's back.
Yeah,
taking 100% of the snaps and ready to go. So
yeah.
As well. So if you have Pickett, fire him up. And we're still seeing Ritter. Do you think? Do you hear anything more about Tannehill? I just kind of heard rumblings about that we're going to see back to Malik Willis again. this week. Is that anybody else hear anything about that?
I have not.
Okay. I saw that on Sleeper Notes, so that's not really anything that I heard any interviews or beat writers on. I just saw if you click on the player profile, you see that he's not practicing and unlikely to play or some note like that. So just something to monitor anyway as we go through the week. And the short week, I did hear, and I don't buy it. I'm just going to kind of say it now, but I heard Matt Stafford went on record saying that he's not contemplating retiring, but I still think he's going to retire. So how about that? Like, I think he's just slowing down the momentum right now, but when it all comes down to it, he's going to retire. Like, it's just he's a competitor, so he wants to play, but it logically won't make sense at some point. And I think that some point is 2023. So, I think I guess I'm not quite buying it. I mean, I guess I feel like we've heard that kind of story a lot. I know, so Bam Knight has an ankle going on. Did you say that, Justin?
Yes.
Bad performance, though, and it led me to believe that rookie running backs that come out of nowhere usually return to nowhere. And so if there was ever any indication what would Bam Knight be next year, it is that Breece Hall and Michael Carter will be the running backs next year. Just, you heard it here. I just think that they'll run Bam Knight this year until they can't. But that performance of mediocrity this week tells me that coming out of nowhere will also return to nowhere, and that scenario will be there. So that's my take on Bam Knight, I think.
Yeah, do you remember which league?
That's it.
Do you remember which league? Me and that one guy had a friendly disagreement on ETN and Robinson when Robinson was in Jacksonville.
I don't.
Yeah, during the draft, we had a friendly disagreement. We agreed to disagree because I said along the lines of you can't just put a running back on the back burner on what he has done so far until, of course, he fell off the face of the earth now.
Yeah.
When James Robinson.
I felt like the industry in general was a little bit higher than they should have been on ETN. And I think it took ETN to blow up a little bit for them to trade James Robinson. That's still the read I got. Like, they liked him and they felt like as long as James Robinson was there, they were going to have to play him. So if they were going to give ETN bell cow carries, they had to ship Robinson off. Like, I really think that was why that all went down. Like, I really do. I think it was less about Robinson not being good and more about they just wanted to create a path for ETN to be the bell cow.
Mm-hmm.
Because they thought he could be, but they knew that they have to play Robinson if he's there. Because he was good. He was good enough to play. He was really good enough to play. And he had thrown enough to play. It wasn't like he could just go to the bench. Now, Michael Carter might be able to go to the bench for Breece Hall, by comparison. And I think there's a little bit of that happened in the Rams world. So I ask you guys, that running backs are a fun topic to discuss. So let's talk Rams running backs. I mean, what do you think from Cam Akers and the cut? They cut Henderson to kind of pave the way for Akers and I guess, a lesser extent, Kyren Williams. But I mean, what do you think of Akers? Akers looked explosive when I watched him,
Yeah, he looked okay to me. But me personally, I'm still just out on Akers.
Yeah. Well, I guess I was more meaning, what do you think the Rams think of him? I mean, I thought he looked explosive. I think, okay, the line sucks, so weighing it in. I feel like, he looks like he has burst, and he looks like they're basically giving him the number one carries on the team at this point. That's what they're giving him, I think. You're laughing, Brad. What are you thinking there?
I more think Baker's one of the best hand offers in the league. Watch out.
What do you think it takes talent to hand the ball off? I mean, I guess it does. What do you mean? He doesn't audible out out of runs.
I'm
He
thinking
just had
the
on his
production
off
comes
throw.
from Baker's handoff abilities.
Okay. What, you think they fear the pass of Baker? So,
I don't think Baker does any. I don't think Cam is as good as he's been showing. I think it was just a joke more.
I know, I'm kidding with you. But I would still say sell on him, but I guess I think that there's value in him, if that makes any sense. Like, I don't think I'd give him away. Like, I think I've been restored to, well, but 4 weeks ago, you had to give him away. Like, he was bad. And now I think value restored. What do you guys think of CEH? I think we might see him this week, right? Or is it next week?
I have no idea.
I saw that he's eligible to come off of IR, and they were contemplating designating for return. So he and Hardman.
I don't think we see much of him, even if he is activated.
Okay, so you think it's just Pacheco and
I think they're rolling with like what they have. Pacheco fits that running role perfectly for them. He doesn't complain or anything, and McKinnon fits that passing role perfectly for them.
Oh, they trust McKinnon a lot. I mean,
yeah,
he's a key to what they do. What do you guys think about Dobbins on the return? And
Missing something. He's missing his breakaway speed. I don't know, or mainly I don't know if he'll ever get it back. But if he does, I can see him returning back to form prior to his ACL injury.
It feels like it takes a little time, but I was seeing like this hitch in his run. Like I could see a hitch in his run again this week, and yet he still was running away from guys. I'm like, how the hell can a guy limp and run away from guys? Like these other guys are NFL guys. Like, how is he like limping down the field and running away from guys? I couldn't figure it out. Now they did eventually catch him, but and maybe in the years past it would have been like Derrick Henry and Penny, where they just like big dude takes off. You know, I guess he kind of reminds me of that same kind of guy that, you know, when he gets going, then he just runs away from him. But maybe Mostert is the same kind of way. Like those guys, they get out in open space and then they turn it on to another gear. And he doesn't have that high gear, you know, kind of thing. But he's like limping and he's still as fast as the DBs. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, it was crazy. So yeah, I was running back's crazy. Kenneth Walker, he coming back. Yeah, I guess he did come back this week. Yep. So we'll see more Kenneth Walker this coming week, probably better version of Kenneth Walker. So
well, he was limited in practice again this week.
Okay. Do you think that's more rest based on, or do you think there's?
I think he re-aggravated the injury a little bit, so we got to see how he.
Well, he did not practice today, and I think it was more of a personally a rest day.
Okay.
I don't think he irritated anything, but they were going against San Francisco, so he's probably a little beat up.
And on the NFL front, what are you guys thinking for the playoffs? Of like, is Seattle, do they get in, or Green Bay, Seattle? Who's the team?
Nope, neither one of them.
Washington. Who are the teams that get in there out of that mess?
Washington's gonna lose this week. They're done. Giants will bear. I think the Giants will still get in. But yeah, kind of wait and see.
So we're gonna have Minnesota win in one division. We're gonna have San Francisco win another division. We're gonna have the Eagles win another division. And then we're going to have Dallas as a wild card. And you think the Giants might be a wild card? Seattle might be a wild card? Do you think Green Bay can come in and be a wild card? Or the
Lions? Green Bay's out of it.
The Lions.
Yeah.
I love the Lions. I like them, and their schedule isn't like crazy. I think they could do it. They're playing some hot ball right now.
So you're on the Lions. So who do you think is going to be in the NFC South? So down there, will we have Tampa, Atlanta, Carolina, or the Saints?
I mean, I just Tampa by default at this point.
Okay.
Yeah, same.
They're only one game ahead of. They're only one game ahead of this other slot.
I know that division's awful this year.
And I
Yeah,
think Tampa has like another hard game. Like they're going to be tied with those idiots, and then it's a matter of who wins that last game. Like does Carolina get into the playoffs or something? Like that would be.
I'm sure they don't want
Get in the
that.
playoffs, you know.
Yeah,
Deontay Foreman running the football in the playoffs in week
Yeah.
1. Here we go. And Sam Darnold, QB1. Who's your QB1? He's Sam Darnold. He was number 3 in our hearts. He's our guy. Yeah. So you think Green Bay's all done going to Miami this week? That's the end of that.
done.
And we'll see Jordan Love for Championship Sunday.
Yeah,
Okay. So if you have Aaron Rodgers, make sure you in your finals you better be prepared to go a different direction. And I guess if we're trying to monopolize quarterbacks, look ahead. I know we always say don't look ahead, but if you're in a 2-quarterback league, look ahead at the other 2 teams, and if they only have 2 quarterbacks in a super flex or 2-quarterback league, look ahead, see who their quarterbacks are. If they only have 2, handcuff the crap out of those 2 teams, put them on your bench this week. So if anything happens to their quarterback, you already own them. You already own them. You're not going to because let's face it, the guys that are on your bench right now, you're not starting this week, right? Because they're on your bench. They are on your bench. And selectively make sure that the other guy can't pick them up to start the following week against you. But if that's the case, like you're not going to start them anyway, they're not going to start them anyway, who cares? Like, time to drop it. You know, it's not like they're doing you any good. And if you can block them to go get yourself some cash, go get yourself some cash. You know, and that's kind of, you know, this is that time to just go get cash. Like, so of my 5 teams, my goal was to really see how many of those I can get to next week, because then that's a cash week. I think every single league I'm in pays second place something. So, you know, I feel like I'm one win away from cash. Justin, all your leagues pay second place?
Uh,
I mean, do you have
one
any
plays
winners?
first and second. One plays first, second, third. 2 of them plays first, second, third, and then one plays first, second, third, and fourth.
Okay. So basically, if you're in championship week, you're making money. Like there's definitely profit to be made. So that's what Brad, how about you? Do you have any winner take all leagues?
I don't think so. I think they're all at least first and second.
Yeah, I did have one of them, but I'm out of that one now. So I have all first and second that I'm in now. So and I have some thirds too, but you know, that's really you lose this week and have to win next week kind of thing. But yeah, you know, then that's usually only get money back. So that's usually not a profit making situation for me. But this is the week to win for profit. This is the money week. So I feel like this is the week you go pull out all the stops, because next week you just need a little luck. So, you know, this week go get it. So without further ado, we'll call it a week, and then next week we'll preview the championship. And man, it's been a fun year. Geez, I can't wait for next week. But yeah, it's been fun. And for Brad, for Justin, I'm Ed, and so long for now.